watching.
Yeah,
Thank you indeed for watching. We are back. So, as we left off, we are splitting the party. Some are looking into exploring the pool. Others are looking forward to physical therapy with the last, with the remaining sister. By the way, could maybe one of you four maybe share their screen for our listener in Discord?
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. For those listening up on YouTube, please note that this game is being run on the Game Master World's Discord. There are regular games being run on, I think, almost on a daily basis, and you can freely come in, listen into through the channel, as long as you are quiet and respectful of the game, and there we go. That's one way of following a group. I've done that a few times. It's quite fun. Right, but let's get going. Anput, Anput, you're going. You're going up to get a massage, right?
Yes.
It's in about an hour, so you've got a little more time to run around. Who's going to the pool?
Yeah, because the massages are only one at a time, correct?
Yes. Unfortunately, only one physical therapist is available for massages right now, but he's going to be working his fingers to the bone all day to make up for the slack.
Fair enough. Well, I guess to start with, I'm just going to go for a cold plunge first, and then in preparation for the massage, I'll probably end with a nice warm soak just to limber down.
Okay.
Walter's join.
So Junnen and Hawthorne, you are going to be. I'll place you for now right at the entrance of the baths, and I'll come to you later. Callahan, you were thinking about a physical exercise?
I was thinking about physical therapy first and then hitting the pool. I'm curious about the third sister.
Okay. Anput, where are you going right now? You've got about an hour before your massage.
I was I've forgotten the name of the man. Hold on. Go in my. Was it Henry? Previously, Morgana had spoken about him sitting here, and he had the face.
Yes, Henry Kolb. Yes.
Anput kind of wobbles back in and kind of looks to where Henry was.
So you would have actually as you were talking to Seth about the whole lost objects thing, you would have seen him pass by, going from the door from the lounge across the lobby into to the other side where the door to the garden. So he's
we
gone
don't know
through
the
this.
layout. Is this the garden here?
Yes, yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. In that case, Anput's gonna do a little exploring.
Okay. So Callahan, you're going to follow suit?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Well, let me just turn to the correct page and give you the description of the garden. Right. So, actually, for our guests, and as a general reminder for everybody else, let me just remind you of what the three sisters look like. There we go. So, unfortunately, I sorry for the folks on YouTube. Look it up. I've cropped. I managed. No, unfortunately, due to the overlay is cropping out the head of the two sisters up top. So we have on the left in red is Azrissa, green song in the center with the veil and the mirror, and the one holding the fan is Morgana. And of course, the goodest of good boys, Morty, sitting on that green cushion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Morty.
Yeah. Well, not wrong, Morty. This one's better, Morty. Right. So let's start with Callahan and Anput. As you step through the door, immediately you are hit with sunlight, right? An iron fence overgrown with ivy surrounds this small garden. An earthen path weaves between a scattering of trees, flower bushes, and stone benches. Various iron weights, wooden poles, and heavy sacks are strewn around the place. You see Azrissa, a sun elf with an impressive build, as in forget the slight build that you normally associate with elves. This one almost looks like a Goliath. She's just under 2 meters tall. This is Karlak without the horns, if you want that kind of reference. And she is currently running exercises with Henry, as in basically doing a sort of a military drill. So, I had done anybody here work out, it would be much help to my terminology. But yes, you can see that there's a series. Currently it's a series of squats and burpees that and Henry seems to be going through them fairly admirably.
Busy.
Well then, another 2 for this morning's exercise.
Hi.
Good. Well, Yes.
I think. Sorry. Just exploring.
Oh, just here to watch then. Well, not a problem. Just stay out of the way.
Sure.
Don't make sure that you don't bother the other ones exercising. And yes, just have a seat and enjoy the sun. How about you, young man? You coming to join us?
Yeah, I suppose I could use the exercise. I'm not my usual. Start stretching a little bit. Not my usual kind. I'm more of a flexibility guy, but I'll see what I can do to keep up.
Well, Henry, I think that we know that now that you've been a bit warmed up, let's get into some shape here. Huh? Well, and your name, sir?
Callahan. Lovely to
Callahan.
meet you.
Well, Azrissa, please. And she basically invites you to sort of join in. So, let's do the first mini game.
Sure.
Squats. So, you to complete this activity, a character must perform 3 sets of continuous squats and succeed on 3 incrementally harder Constitution checks. So,
Constitution is good. I was worried it was going to be athletic. As basically Henry sort of comes up, he sort of clocks you with a heavy hand on your shoulder, going, "Don't worry, it gets easier, I think." She goes hard on me because I'm part of because of the whole program. Should be easier on you. You're just starting, right? Anyway, Henry, The program.
It's all about the healing process. Getting better acquainted with the healing that's going on. Lost most of my mobility in my right hand and leg a month ago. Doctor said I'd never walk again, that I could never use my hand again, but the sisters here have been miraculous. Azrissa going, yes, and your treatment's not done yet, so let's get moving.
Miracle. Oh.
So, basically, I'm gonna move you here. Right, so, Callahan, could you please make me your first Constitution check, as Arissa basically starts you up with a series of instructions on basically just squats. Go up, down, go ahead.
Let's have a look at that. And 1, and 2, and let's see if I do any better than the last time.
Oh, wow! Wow!
Go warm up.
That's the warm up, buddy. Oh
Yin
boy.
and yang.
Okay. Right. I don't know what to do with that. Okay. So.
Is that wait? Because was it supposed to send 2? 1.
So if you go onto your if you on Roll20 right now, there should be a large B at the bottom of the screen on the right. Click that, and then when it says you'll have certain options, including whisper, never whisper, and one of them is rolled when you rolled always click on the option always roll twice.
Okay.
Right. Make me a Constitution check right now.
Right. Here we go. Hopefully that'll work now.
I would actually say for Anput to do the same thing, please.
Anput sitting down.
No, I'm talking. I'm mostly talking to the player here. So if you want to, if you want to set up your dice to always roll twice, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
Where was this?
Bottom right, the blue, the red dice with the B on top.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Here. Always roll twice.
Yes.
All right, I found it.
Thank you.
I have found it.
Yeah, that way I can hit you with hidden disadvantages sometimes.
Okay.
Or hidden advantages.
Got it.
Right. So a character who fails a check has disadvantage on the next one as part of the activity. Right. Okay. So basically, right. So your first one was a fail, Callahan. It's a difficult start, right? As you something along the lines of maybe Azrissa is overestimating you, or just because she's heated up and Henry's heated up, and you're just you're running before you're walking in a sense, but nonetheless, that is going to be a failure on the first part. So the second one is done at disadvantage. Whoops. What's this? Oh,
It's raining.
That is a strange. Anyways. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave it to the. I was expecting this to be a nice forest theme, but I think I'm gonna just leave it to the only other one. Okay. Sorry about that. Right. Second. So the first DC was 10. So that was a failure. Disadvantage on the next one, which means on DC that's a DC 13. So that's a miss. So just barely, as you can almost barely keep up with the two. Azrissa sort of looking at you with a bit of a. She's now appraising you, but not in a good way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's do this a third check again. Constitution check, disadvantage. DC is 16.
16. Woof. Let's see. Ooh. Much better.
That is much better. Unfortunately, you don't get the crit.
It.
You don't get the crit, but that's a 19. Good. Yes, you finally get your rhythm, and it's almost a disappointment where you finally get your rhythm. You finally that ache in your side is or that burning in your thighs is sort of just about to get to you getting in the rhythm where she says, "Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough." Henry sort of grabs a towel off one of the branches, so wipes and well, that was certainly invigorating. How'd you do, Callahan? A bit of struggle on the beginning, shaking off a bit of the rust off.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Okay.
Well, what else you got?
Henry sort of looks at you going, "Oh, now you said it." As Rissa sort of crosses her arms and said, "Okay, yeah, let's see if we can do something a bit different, huh?" And she points to, there's a large tree in the bottom corner of the garden, and on which you can see above, around some of the lower branches, are a series of very sort of thick hempen ropes, basically. So almost to be, on ship. And they seem to have several knots at different intervals. And says, why don't you just go pull on that one?
Ever on Ninja Warrior?
No, so the thing is, these are not... okay, well, as soon as you approach, they're not hanging down from the branch. They're sort of on the floor, okay. But basically they are tied, not to the trunk, but one to the heavier branches on the bottom.
Cable rows.
Yeah, kinda. The thing is, as you step up up to the tree starts to move. So there's a creaking of wood, there's a swashing of leaves, as it basically almost sort of like whip-like sort of throws the coiled rope in your direction.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah. Same equipment, but let's see how strong you manage to, how well you can keep on your feet.
Dream off.
Yes,
What?
little one. This here's my friend. And he's been helping me deal with helping me help others, let's put it that way. Right, Callahan? Well, Henry, take a rest, Callahan. Come up, and let's see how much you can last against my friend here, huh? So this is going to be this is going to be a tug of war.
Tug of war. Oh
Yeah.
God.
Contestant ready.
To complete this activity, a character must stay on their feet in a tug of war against the awakened tree. So, okay, what we're going to do here. So this is a tug of war. So the idea is this is continuous. As in, you're going to be rolling athletics check. And until you either beat 16 or fail, well, either the DC is 16, and we'll see whether comes first, whether you succeed by 5 or fail by 5.
Okay.
So
Callahan is extremely athletic.
Yes.
So this is gonna be this should be
okay.
Interesting.
Let's have a look. Let's try it out.
Test your strength.
Yes. So as you measure up, let's move you into position towards the tree right here. Okay. As Rissa sort of goes up to okay. Oh, that's going to be a problem. Because technically you can't beat a DC by a 16 by 5. But you crit. So explain to us how you managed. Basically, you grab the rope goes taut as the tree basically yanks you in its direction, right? But I guess on your first try you managed to succeed. So tell us how you managed to keep your feet in.
Callahan knows he's not strong. Strength isn't what he's specialized in, and he knows that as a game of pure endurance, time is against him.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries to be clever instead, and instead of just pulling the rope taut, he grabs it and with his whole body he whips it first in the direction of the tree, sending it as a wave down. Watching for that moment of imbalance, not sure what to expect because it's a tree.
It is a tree. Okay.
But right as the wave reaches the branch of the tree, and he's looking for that moment of imbalance, and then rather than just pulling with his arm, just essentially throws himself back, kicking with his heels into the ground, and almost jumping back with the entire rope.
Yeah. There's a moment where there's a sort of a cracking of wood, and there's a groaning of wood as the tree seems frustrated to, and as Rissa is going, just sort of clicks her tongue in sort of a, well, that's one way of doing things. Not exactly sure you followed the spirit, but you followed the letter. Fair enough. So,
I know what I'm good at.
See if he lasts.
well,
You got this. We've lost our spectator.
we've lost who?
We've lost our spectator.
Ah, okay. No worries. They're free to come back anytime. As Rissa sort of, basically, well, I can't let you go just yet. So, how about we do one last challenge?
How about?
Okay. Maybe this one should be up your alley, Twinkle Toes. As you see that she basically grabs what you thought to be sort of a rope, you realize is actually a heavy chain. And this is 15 foot of heavy chain, which she just grabs and pulls like it's nothing. But just by the way it's grinding into the ground, you can see that this thing weighs a ton. Well, not really. It's not a port. Everything's relative. And then she starts shaking it. A bit like the way you did previously with the rope to try and catch the tree off guard. Except this time you realize that the chain is actually hooked into the bark of the tree. It is nailed inside of it. And starts doing basically loops. And looks like a skip rope.
Oh.
And she's like,
With a chain.
with a chain. Huh? Come on. Hop on in. Let's see what you can do. 3 sets. So in this case, to complete this activity, a character must succeed on 3 DC's 13 acrobatics checks. I think you should be a bit better than that one.
Let's hope so.
That
That would be embarrassing.
dangerous.
It sounds dangerous. The whooshing of the chain is literally feels. There's a moment of dread as you're going. It's just really that heavy whoosh, 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 whoosh. Fortunately, in a fairly repetitive and predictable manner, which is all what you need for jump rope. But yes, there is a sense of dread coming over you as you're pretty sure any impact with this chain will send you reeling. So
this is a health spa, right?
Don't worry, we've got potions.
Doesn't that just put a smile on my face? First jump.
Okay. Let's go.
Okay, here we go. And well,
that's a 14. That's a success. Okay.
It just feels
Closer than you'd want it, though.
in my head.
Say that again.
Feel it almost nick the back of my head as I'm like.
Okay. You go in. There's the chain. There's a couple of revolutions. You're starting to you're starting to get ahead. A good feeling for it. Let's go for the second set.
Coming right up. Darts back in. And I can't even see the dice here. They're hidden underneath it.
That is a 13. Just enough.
Ooh.
As maybe it's you're still sort of dreading the impact, which means you're concentrated more on the movement of the chain than your movement of your feet. And as Rissa is saying, watch your feet, not the chain. Just feel it. It'll come. Hear the rhythm. Expect it to come. Don't focus on the chain. But again, whoosh, 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 whoosh. You can feel the air sort of sort of trailing behind this heavy thing.
Feel the pattern. Feel the pattern.
Let's go with the last set.
Pattern within the chaos and steps.
That's a 19.
Yeah, that's so much better.
That's so much better. At this point, I don't know if it's maybe it's Anput's encouragement, maybe it's Azrissa. Who knows? Maybe Anput is secretly a bard, and you get that inspiration. But yeah, at this point, Azrissa is a good, and sort of Henry is going, sort of clapping away in rhythm, and there's just the moment where we go, yes, okay. As soon as you, that's enough. As soon as you exit the, she sort of slows the chain down, drops it. There's a thud as the entire chain sort of drops into the soil, and you can see slowly but surely the tree uses one of its branches to basically roll it up near its roots, so it's not in the way. Well.
Well done. Well done.
Well done indeed.
Thanks, sir.
Could use a little more of the squats, but well, when you're ready to get to back to the squats, come and find me, huh? I'm not letting you start my program, you finish my program.
Huh. I see. Well, I'll let's talk later then.
We'll
Truly
do that.
A pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
walks towards the pool, I suppose.
Yeah.
You staying around here, Anput, or are you coming
Just
with?
one question. One question. I saw the archery.
Mm-hmm.
Does archery happen here?
Well, and Henry says, well, actually, that's what Azrissa and I were going to be doing next. As
Perks up immediately.
As it's part of the process of getting back my... Okay. So, Anput, you're going to be joining the archery lesson?
I suppose so. If it doesn't like eat into the time in which she said she would be doing the...
I think that with all of this,
Yes.
you might have another maybe 20 minutes before going before your appointment.
Okay.
But it's not one of the mini games. So we'll just sort of narratively go through it. But
It is simply Anput has noticed, and this is like she was born for this.
Okay.
If they allow, Anput will join in Henry.
Okay. Let's move to the two bearded fellows, and let's see how they do. Right. So we rewind about 40 minutes, and we join Junnen and Professor Hawthorne. You've as
Professor Junnen with a PhD in alcohol.
As you've moved into basically the cabins are there where you can just grab if you are in any other dress than your lounge dress, I would say. You can find plenty in the last two cupboards. You can find plenty of towels and sort of and such to sort of set yourselves in. Let's see. I'm going to move Leola and Kelna, who are having a lice soak. There you go. Right. Let's when you wish, you may open the doors and step in. Here we go. A floor of polished white marble surrounds a large central pool of steaming turquoise water in this large open-air bath. Stone pillars stand along the outside wall, sculpted with relief carvings of Sune,
two statues of the goddess, towards the back in sort of these little sort of nooks. Between the pillars, frosted windows diffuse the light from outside through the mist that hangs in the air. So you have this at the center. You can hear sort of almost playing. I guess it would be a form of Marco Polo, or you can hear the two halflings sort of calling out to each other in almost a game of hide and seek among the mist. On either side, Junnen, you were talking about cold and hot water. The steam is definitely is coming from the central pool, which you would expect would be heated by some sort, either by artifice, by arcane, or by natural measure. Most likely, this would be a hot spring. So. But you also see that on either side, next to benches, you find tap water. Well, you find small taps, and those, as they, you find crystalline and cool water. There are.
How big are the sinks, though? How big are the sinks, though?
They are. They'd be about the size. These are large water sinks, right? They're not pools. They're not.
But they're big enough to step inside. Is the
No. These would be these would be about, for you they would be about head high, I guess, or chest high.
Enough.
It's enough to splash and to sort of, but it's not enough. You can't dunk yourself into it.
I can't. It's head high if I were to.
It's a sink.
It's a sink.
It's sort of a fairly large marble sink, but it remains a sink.
Right.
Maybe one of the Coppercrest girls might be able to fit in, but not you.
I see.
Just leave my towels and I will just enter the pool.
Are there buckets near the sinks?
I think you would have enough. Yeah, definitely. This would be the water that you would use, a bit like at an onsen or a Japanese bath. You sort of you wash yourself before going into the bath.
In which case, that's what if it's a sink, what Junnen will do is sort of, if he can't plunge his entire body, he'll at the very least sort of relax his face, just sort of hold his breath and just dunk his head as long as he can a few times, and then when that's done, empty out the water. Fill up the bucket a few times and just splash cold water over his entire body a few times, and then after that, just sit on the bench for a bit, with a bucket every now and then, emptying out the bucket a bit on himself, sort of in intervals.
Okay.
And then after that it's done, he'll get into the actual pool, but that won't be for a bit if we want to jump to Hawthorne for about 5-10 minutes.
So Hawthorne, you step in?
I will just wash myself. I took 2 towels.
Okay.
Just clean myself, drop the other towel on the bench, and will enter the pool.
So are you wearing anything, or is this a conveniently placed mist over the camera kind of situation?
So you mentioned it's similar to an onsen.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, in that case, yes. And it's answered.
The water is... first of all, the pool is about 10 feet deep. There's a series of stairs that sort of go down into its... so there's no real spot for you to sort of just stand, right? It's a full pool. The two girls have been sort of splashing around, but sort of calmed down once you've joined them. The water is yes.
If I see them, I just nod to them.
They nod back, and sort of maybe there's a bit of giggling between the two as they realize that there's a bit of a calming down. the energy sort of lessens a little bit. The water is crystalline clear. The if it were not for the sort of the turquoise haze, you would not even know it's there. It's just that little warmer than you would expect it to be, but very quickly you find yourself sort of easing in, and any aches or pains that you might have, whether be from the war, from bad sleep, or just from age, you feel that sort of slowly sort of melting away.
Fantastic. I just ease out in the corner of the pool. Enjoy the time.
I'm going to ask both Junnen and Hawthorne, what is your passive perception, please?
12.
Passive perception, 15.
15, okay. Junnen, is there any point where you step into the water?
Sorry?
Is there at any point do you step into the hot pool?
Yeah, after about, like I said, after about 5-10 minutes, I'll be hopping in.
You
Make
just
500 charisma saves.
Not literally jump in. I'll sit down by the edge that I was at, and then just do that. So everyone has their own corner, basically.
Yeah. So are you slipping? Are you slipping in, or are you cannonballing? Those are anywhere in between.
I'm gonna sit at the edge, put my feet in, and then do a little hop from there, but nothing that'll create waves.
Well, here's the thing. Speaking of waves, there is that one moment where you're pretty sure, as you sort of slip in, consciously trying to avoid to make waves, right? And just sort of slip in and just keep your elbows on the side to sort of hang there. You do notice that there is a wave that seems to be sort of just spreading away from you towards the center of the pool, and then turns to the left and then disappears.
Can I make a perception check on that?
Sure.
Do I see any of that?
Not with your passive perception, no. Okay. Junnen, you're not exactly sure what you saw, but whatever it is, it could have been a trick of the light, or because you're not seeing anything. Like I said, the water is crystal clear, and you are not seeing anything underneath, nor would you see any reason for there to be that wave. Maybe it's just, just the current.
I'm gonna keep that in mind for now, just to bring up later.
Okay.
To the three owners.
Okay.
Not sort of out of concern, just out of curiosity. I suspect whatever it is probably intentional, but still something I'll choose to bring up.
Sure. As you, I think, you spent your time as I said, for Hawthorne and Junnen, you feel that same sort of the melting. It's there's something about this water. It's a hot spring, which means that there's this particular smell to it. There's this particular ambience to it, which you feel yourself almost despite any wish of control or whatever. You feel yourself sort of slipping into that relaxed state, almost as if any burden placed on your body previously just sort of melts away, and you're just there floating with not another care in the world. It's almost as there's almost a point where if you stay still enough, the water around your skin just gets that perfect temperature where you don't feel neither hot nor cold, and you're just floating.
That's fantastic.
Is this for both of us?
Yes.
sort of minutes pass. The two girls. There's a bit of you're sort of disturbed a little bit in your reverie as the two girls sort of scamper out of the pool, and sort of head towards the exit. And I think that's when Callahan, you come in.
All right. Are you wearing any bathing suits or something of the like?
I think that let's say for loincloth, and for potentially for the female variety, sort of a band around the chest, but that's pretty much it. Let's keep this PG-13 ish.
Sure. I think that probably the first time that both of you have seen Callahan take off his clothes. You see that. I don't think you even need to roll for that. But there's a moment of almost hesitation as he sees you in the water, and he takes off the cloak, places it on the ground, takes off the undershirt, and you see he's reasonably well built, wiry, not muscly, and you see, probably for the first time, a scar of some sorts that he has on his upper chest. It's almost like there's almost like some sort of puckered, swollen mesh that is just pressing out from underneath his skin, above his pectorals and going a little bit up his neck. Discolored, almost angry in color.
Junnen, Hawthorne, there will be a roll here. Make me an Arcana check.
Sure.
It may be you could either do Arcana or History.
Oh wow! Can I try history now that you say it?
Sure. Let's
'Cause I
ignore
do have
that now
proficiency
one.
in history. Yeah, let's stick to that one. Yeah,
People like the
let's do that
professor.
one.
Okay.
Finally.
So I'm going to tell you two things. First, for Junnen and Hawthorne, what you see on Callahan's body is not a scar. Not really. It's not something that would have been applied with a weapon or even a curse. This is something different. Junnen, you know the existence of dragon marks. These are marks that are sort of birthmarks chosen by specific dragons here in Eberron to and basically mark the wearer with certain powers or capabilities. According to the dragon mark, some people have healing powers or tracking powers or martial or arcane abilities that are linked to this mark. Callahan seems to have one that's wrong. Hawthorne, as a professor, you know exactly what this is with the 26. This is an aberrant dragon mark, an artificial one. An attempt by whatever mad mage or unethical arcanist to recreate upon this person this mark. To artificially, well, it's basically, it's the equivalent of the super serum from Captain America, where it works on one person but fails everywhere else. Aberrant dragon marks are illegal. Aberrant dragon marks are dangerous because quite often they will turn the wearer completely mad. And as far as both of you know,
your friend Callahan was never dragon marked.
Yo. That's sick.
Thank you, Eberron, for that for that particular feature.
Hell yeah.
There's a pause as he waits for something, a reaction, an acknowledgement, and watching the two of you remain silent.
Wait, sorry, just for context,
Yes.
Junnen doesn't know any of this with his 12.
So Junnen knows about dragon marks because that's something sort of fairly. The fact that it's an aberration, an artificial mark, I think is above your pay grade and above your knowledge.
Yeah.
But it looks it's usually a birthmark and it's quite specific, right? You'll see that there's a design to it. Here it's like it's infected. It's the mark is bled out into the skin, and into sort of this patch of how do you describe it? Sort of scar tissue.
You okay there? Your mascara's running.
I suppose I should find myself better makeup. Alright, chill's over, and I slink almost into the pool, almost eel-like, and until only my head is visible above the water surface.
I have a question for. Check your DMs, Bardic. Can you please check on that and answer?
Yep. That is a good question, actually.
Dealer is making a deal?
Well, no, I just needed to. So yes, you slip into the water. Unfortunately, there's something that I need to look up on his character sheet, and I do not have it right here. Because D&D Beyond keeps trying to update itself whenever I try to log in.
DM, the answer to your question is yes.
Okay, perfect. I think as you slip in, again, there's a moment where you slip in, you feel that the heat sort of the sensations that I described for the other two are the same for you. However, there is something whereas when you slip just above, as you go up to your neck, right, and as the water hits the mark, the other two don't notice, but you feel you almost have to kick a little bit in the water just to stay upright, as you feel there's just an extra bit of heat. There's a flash of heat, a flash of cold, and then you feel something almost sort of not pull you down, but it almost feels like there's a rush of current just above you, just enough to sort of destabilize you, to going from that upright floating position to sideways. And you just have to just to kick in the water just enough to keep upright. It's there for just a moment. And how much? And actually, if I think Junnen and Hawthorne, you two would both be looking in Callahan's direction, right here. So I think both of you make me a perception check. Actually, all three. You may go. All three make me a perception check.
Cool.
I was so close to a nat 20. Why did it slip onto a 2? God damn it.
Junnen, as observant as always.
What do you mean? My perception haven't been all that bad. Up
Oh, yeah,
somehow.
yeah.
He's like Bender from Futurama. He's fueled by alcohol. The more he has, the better he performs.
I mean,
Maybe.
need I remind you, the magical item I picked is the Drunkard's Amulet, so quite literally, yes.
How
Are
many
you
drinks have
wearing
had
it?
today?
Are you wearing it?
At all times, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I've accidentally got a sip of the pool water. Oh,
No,
the
no,
world's
but,
spinning.
at this point, it's a family heirloom in the form of a necklace with my family crest on it.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing it at all times, kind of like a religious symbol. Even
Yeah. There's
those get worn into pools and stuff usually.
it's an enclosed sort of crystalline, so completely smooth, right? So it's a sort of a crystal, and inside there's just the first drop of your family's brew. You know, the very original
In
draft.
amber.
There's just and sort of held in amber. So let's see, Hawthorne 18, Callahan 15.
Matter of fact, given that we specialize in honey mean, I'm gonna just say crystallized honey because that basically never expires.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. I'll take
the
it.
first tree we ever harvested, we'd have crystallized a drop of honey from that.
A little bit of royal jelly, maybe.
Yeah. Imbued it with magic and passed it down.
Yeah. So Lucius, I think Callahan, you're a bit startled by the sudden movement, and you're wondering what's going on. And I think Hawthorne, you see the same thing that I described to Junnen, right? As in, you see the water sort of just rise up, as if there was something sort of pushing just below the surface of the water, not breaking the tension of the surface, just pushing it up, and then moving down. But you do not see anything in the water.
There's definitely a moment of alertness where I'm trying to tell if this is some sort of feature of the water or if there is something within it, something is moving through it, but I don't think I'm able to tell. And the only thing I'm sure is that I'm not exactly relaxing right now.
No, maybe not. On that point, let's move back to our feathered friend, Anput. So we're going back. We're pretty much as we come back onto the range. You've moved backwards, and Azrissa is basically running drills, right? As in knock, draw, loose, knock, draw, loose, as you have in front of you, stuck into the ground, about half a dozen arrows. There's already been about half a dozen sent downwards towards the target, right? Mm-hmm. But Anput, did you go back and get your short bow, or did you, or you?
She would use whatever is given to her.
Okay. Now the thing is, these bows here, and you can see Henry's bow is this massive, heavy bow, but it's almost, I would say, it's too strong to be practical. You realize as you're pulling on this bow that it's not made for hunting. It's not even made for war. It's made for exercise. So it's literally as you're opening up this bow, you can feel the yes. I'm actually in real life an archer, which means this is gonna get fun for me.
Let's go.
You can actually feel the back and your shoulders sort of burning in the exercise. This is not a strength of bow that you are used to. And as you might loose an arrow here and there and miss, you realize that the point is not the target. The point is that physical exercise. And you can see Henry sort of opening and closing this bow, with Azrissa going, okay, Just a bit further. Okay, bring it back. Slow. Right? He's not letting go. He's not loosing. You're there just for fun. But he's really...
Anput would try and join in,
Okay.
being basically half of Henry's height.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Azrissa would have a bow for your height, as they do get halflings. They do get, smaller species. So why don't you make me a... Do you have proficiency in athletics?
I do, yes.
Do you have... No. Do you have proficiency... So, make me an athletics check.
Okay. Hold on. So I just got the thing. Normal roll?
Yes,
So-
normal roll.
Alright. Fingers. Okay, that's not too great.
At 12,
I
it's okay.
will mention as well, is this just a test of strength, or is this something else that I can also add to as well? Because Anput is he has 1 level 1 fighter, so she has +2 to attack with her ranged weaponry.
Right, okay.
If that means anything, she's a
Well-
sharpshooter.
Well, why don't you roll me an attack?
Okay.
Considering that you made
I-
a 12, I will not be giving you disadvantage. Well, that's a 10. Jesus, come on, guys. You got to work
What
with
do
me
you
here.
want from me?
What do you want from it?
It's a healing process. I ain't just gonna walk into a spa and go, I'm healed, and walk out.
Nah. I think it's... Well, speaking as an archer, the first time you pick up a new bow is basically you're starting back on day 1.
Yeah.
Every bow is different, and this one is slightly too tall for you. It's not the right curve. It's more of a long bow. There's no window on it, so it's a bit more difficult. Basically, these are all these excuses going through your head as to explain as to why you didn't actually hit the target.
Yeah, she's trying to. She can't figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
why didn't I hit that?
Yeah,
Why
roll
didn't
me
I hit
another
that?
one.
Try
Roll me
again.
another one.
Try again.
Let's make the let's see.
Oh,
best
I've
out
hit
of
the
3.
rapier instead. Add +2 to this one.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can. That'll be a 9.
It's a 1 + 8.
Jesus.
Oop. She's getting
Um,
frustrated now.
Yeah, I can.
It's getting to her.
Yeah, there's a moment where I think you, as you're opening the bow is really is literally too heavy for you, but you want this, but you actually feel a twang in your shoulder. So the next shot is going to be a disadvantage as you are starting to actually basically you're hurting yourself, but your pride
Okay.
is pushing you forward. So
She goes for it anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not great. That's a 4 + 8.
Yeah, okay. I think the dice are telling a story here. Did you not manage to roll above a 4? Yeah. you literally rolled a 2, a 1, and a 4.
I'm so good at rolling dice.
No. Yeah, this time you can feel Azrissa is actually the one who basically you're about to knock a 4th arrow, and Azrissa basically steps in front of you and grabs the bow and goes, "No, little one. I think let the lesson sink in before we learn another one." Now.
Okay. She'll let go of the bow and her arms will fall to the side.
Don't worry, little one. Look, if you wished, my process is complex, and well, it works with the dealings of my other 2 sisters. So, now,
Why couldn't sharpshooting's one of my things. Why couldn't I?
well, don't worry about it. Sometimes we just have a bad day. Other times, well, maybe we should look into it. Right? You have your favorite bow. Maybe you've just gotten too used to that one. And others are a bit of a struggle. Don't worry, we can continue at it. And don't worry, if at any moment you decide that you need a bit of help, well, we can do the same thing that we've been doing to Henry here, right? Work your way up, greater strength, greater accuracy. That's certainly something that we can do.
Anput will. I'm forgetting this lady's name.
Azrissa. I'll wait.
Azrissa.
Let me. You should see. There we go. There you should see their name.
Hey, Anput will look to Azrissa, then to Henry, and then back to the bow, and then quickly back to Azrissa.
Well, and I believe,
okay.
as you can sort of, yeah. This is about. I think this would be about time for the massage, by the way.
Should think I'm sketch massage. Ask
Yes.
for massage.
Of course.
Yes.
Have him look at your shoulder in particular.
Yes.
And come see me
Okay.
later.
She'll just nod at that one,
Okay.
and she'll wave at Henry. Then it'll be a slow, but then she'll like kind of scamper inside. Kind of sigh at the floor when she gets into the main lobby.
Seth sort of looks up from a book. Everything all right, little one?
Yes. When is massage?
I think that you would be well, if you hurry, you might not miss the start of it.
What?
Oh,
does
back of the lounge, the two doors leading north.
2 doors. Okay. Thank
You
you.
are booked in the green room. The second
Great.
door on your right.
Yeah.
Ilmar would be waiting.
Okay.
Enjoy.
She'll make her way up. She goes.
Ignore the fact that I haven't moved the tokens. They're somewhere else.
That's okay.
There you go. No.
No, outside. Wrong doors.
Actually, as you moved out, as you opened up, you find yourself outside, right? And there, I think that
She'll look outside and go, "Wait, this isn't a green room. This is just
exactly.
outside."
One of the things that you notice is on the side, sort of you can see there's a gravel path. Or it's a path that's been walked many times and now has gone from it looks like a natural path, right? Just a beaten down earth, and you can see there's a small sort of well built tower at the edge there. You can also see that there's an other path, but this time this one's a bit more faded, going towards the left, leading through the copse of trees.
Okay.
But just as you were about to maybe look further, you can see a young man. Well, for us in the audience, we would see him as actually quite good looking. He
Spitting
is
young man.
Yes, you can see he's got sort of semi longish hair tied to the back. He's wearing sort of this very not sheer, that would be the word, sort of clean cut, almost like a tabard, some sort of smock, I guess. But you notice that he's got around his wrists and his neck, he's got sort of circular tattoos. And he says, Anput, I believe that I'm expecting you?
Yes. Wrong doors.
No worries. Just for your own safety, beware back there. You get closer to the Feywilds, and
dangerous.
Shouldn't be too much of an issue. It's just that, well, you're free to wander around. Just, I believe they had you sign a waiver for it.
Yes. No.
Please.
Not responsible for it. Okay.
Please, just lie down, relax, and I'll get started. Is there anywhere that I should be? Is there anything I should be made aware of? Old scars? No.
No scars. My shoulder feels bad. Tried archery. Feels bad.
Okay, well we'll have a look at that then.
Does wearing does require taking off?
As soon as you start asking that question, you realize that you are now chirping. And Ilmar is looking at you. Go, oh, I'm not sure I quite understand you. Just.
She'll fumble like with her necklace, and then she'll use the second.
Okay, you still use the second use. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
No worries.
Need amulet to speak common.
Oh. Well, thank you for helping me understand you, and please just have a seat here, lie down, and remove what you may find comfortable. Don't worry.
She'll there's a moment where she kind of holds the cloak, but she will take it off.
Okay.
And she'll lie down.
So you find yourself as you sort of as he starts basically starting the massage. You find yourself in a dimly lit room with shrouded lamps and furnished with a bed whose frame can be tilted and folded into different positions. Shelves and counters hold an array of perfumes, oils, and lotions, and scented candles can fill the room with a pleasantly invigorating scent. The man starts to... he has this sort of soft and sort of soft, hushed voice. As he's trying to put you at ease, basically doing sort of small talk, asking where you've been, where you're coming from, and this is not. You don't have the impression that he's trying to push to sort of interrogate you, but it's very much trying to put you at ease by getting you into the moment, in a sense. He also at some point basically asks, if you do not wish for me to talk, we can just do this in silence. So how much do you engage? We don't have to play the whole scene. How much do you engage with him?
Anput will do her best.
Okay.
Anput does enjoy it when she is able to communicate her words instead of having to use her hands, which she will admit to this individual.
Words feel better to use than hand sign language.
Well, you can sign, can you?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that has been. I happen to know a little bit about it. So as he sort of moves, you can sort of hand signal. Here's the thing, Anput. The sign that he uses. How should I put this? When you've joined the guild, the sign language that they taught you was fairly specific. And you notice this when you went out into the world, which is you would have different signage has sort of different dialects, right? As in you can make sure that you understand. It's like common. It's like English it's like English, right? The English spoken in America is not the one in England, is not the one in South America or South Africa. But here, Ilmar Mizrim, your physical therapist in this case, seems to speak the same dialect that you were taught.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a few words, like I said, he signs a few words, and you're realizing the way that he's signing is the way that word is spoken within the guild.
Are you?
I don't
Are
think
you
that
part of-
he cuts you off. Said, I don't think that that question would be quite. It shouldn't necessarily be asked in these places, right? At least not out loud. Which he signs.
Oh, okay, then if Anput gets the chance, she will sign that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can assume that the rest of the conversation here is spoken in sign language, as we see both all four of your hands sort of fly in different patterns, and we just have the subtitles for the.
Anput can indeed sign language with her talent. All four of them. She can sign language with her feet.
I'm not sure that that's how it works, but okay.
It's. I have to imagine that her hands and feet are kind of the same. They just don't have like the back talent.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you have the. But doesn't really matter for the narrative. We're not going to get into the specifics.
Well, okay.
But yeah, as he so, are you and your companions of the guild then?
Yes.
Are you here? Are you here? What are you here for?
There's a long silence. If he looks into Anput's expression, she looks like she's thinking.
Not.
If you don't need to look, I understand if you don't want to tell me the specifics of the mission. I just need to know if you are on one or not. I have been here for the past 2 months now, and I need to know if you are here by coincidence or in response to my call for help.
Immediately, her eyes. It's like, huh? What? This is like the completely 180.
This is, if I were a sadistic GM, this is where I would call it for tonight, but we still have time, and we only have technically we only have 3 sessions, so I want to get this moving on. So
yes, okay. But she'll go to speak out loud.
Yeah.
Then she'll sign it.
No. As soon as you go to speak, he grabs your beak and sort of looks at it. And sort of immediately sort of lets go, almost like he was holding hot coals. I apologize, but we must be discreet. The sisters have spies everywhere.
She nods.
It would have been truly funny if you chose to end the session here. You said he grabs your beaks like, this session is sponsored by Game Master Worlds and their new book.
Anput fades away. So she will nod, and then she will sign coincidence.
Well, I guess it's better. So they, damn it! That means
she's now full attention now. Anput is full attention.
Look, I don't want to discuss this here. We have... Again, your shoulders bent at us. Look, just tell your companions, just this, to be discreet, but to keep their eyes open. There's something going on here.
She nods.
We've had agent... Well, about 4 months ago, I was contacted in some way. I think it was a dream. I think it was a vision. I'm not sure. But by the owner of this place. And I'm not talking about the sisters. I'm talking about the previous owner.
She nods again.
She was a good friend of mine. We lost touch for a couple of years, but look, it took me this long to infiltrate this place and be as inconspicuous as possible, but I can't. They're looking at me. They don't trust me. So I'm going to have you do the looking for me. I don't think the sisters can actually read our signs, but just make sure you're out of sight of anywhere. Do this in the room. Do some in the but beware. There's something strange about the employees here. I'm pretty sure that the Elven Sisters are not who they say they are. Things have been...
Head tilt.
I don't exactly know. I haven't figured it out. Ideally, I would want to be able to have a look at the tower in the back, maybe even get to the temple. But I'm stuck here. If I step out of those doors, I'm going to be found out. I'm not supposed to go back there.
She nods.
So, if you can find a way to get into the tower, do so and bring me back as much information as you can. Keep your eyes open. But do not trust the sisters.
She nods again.
Now, I'm going to ask you this as a precaution. I put my trust in you. I would ask you, for you, little friend. Can you trust your companions? Can I trust your companions?
Think for a moment.
I want you to think long and hard about this. Trust me.
There's this drunk guy. He's very loud.
Put Junnen's face clear in your mind. Is that the face of a trustable guy?
You mean the guy who almost sort of insulted the hosts, which this morning by...
Listen, he might not be trustable, but at the very least, given this morning's fiasco, you can count on him turning on the owners in a fucking heartbeat. For insulting him with a fucking health drink that tastes like shit.
Okay.
So that's as much motivation as he needs to flip this entire empire on its head.
In sign language. She will sign. One is a close companion. Another is a stout ally. The other one is loud, but I'm sure I can.
Good.
Just give me the least details out of anyone. It should be fine.
Well, then we have an accord. And he sort of puts his hand out and puts his hand out to you and says, with this face, I'm Ilmar Mizrim, but you can call me Dusk.
She will sign Dusk, and then she will put one of her claws
there's a very
into his hand.
Yeah, as there is a very slight shimmer, and you can see where, at his wrist, the circular tattoo at his wrist, sort of just blinks just out just for a second, and you can see that there's a dark blue, almost, a dusk colored patch of skin that starts to seep about his hand. The same goes around his neck and around his and at the arms, where these sort of bands seem to sort of seep darker coloration into his skin. And just for a brief moment, before reverting back to his face, you see the traits of a drow.
Ah, ha, ha.
Now, I've revealed myself to you, little one. Remember, if I can take this face, I can take another. should you betray this face, another will betray you. That is how we do it in the guild.
She's a little taken aback by that, but she will nod. She understands.
Actually, do I have...
She will also sign her name as well. Because he knows her name, but she will sign Nightbird.
Nightbird, okay. Yep, that is right there. That is the traits. So very sort of androgynous kind of feature. That was Dusk. And now Ilmar Mizrim is back. You realize that time sort of flew by, and you're about coming up. And he says, "Well, let's see for that shoulder with the time that we have left, okay?"
Yes.
Yeah. And he's
back.
He has got great hands. As
Neat.
despite the difference in anatomy that you might, he's very adept of maybe sort of figuring out what you need. And as the hour comes up, you're pretty much good. You're pretty much good to go. I would actually move. Yeah, go ahead. Finish.
She will, but basically, just to finish off, she will sign thank you. She can feel the magic wearing off.
Mm-hmm.
She gets out, and then as she goes to leave before opening door, she'll do like a guild nod.
Yeah. Okay.
And then she will.
He he responds, but with a very sort of formal, the bow of a physical therapist, right? As in sort of thank you. And actually, I would say, he looks to, I think, Hawthorne. You were gonna be up right afterwards, or do we want to change that around?
You can go next.
Okay.
I really want to go next.
Okay. So I would think, let's get back. Okay, and we're time jumping here, right, folks? Anput, stay there for a second. We'll be right back to you. There we go. So Junnen, Callahan, Hawthorne. As you're soaking, again, Hawthorne, you've just seen this sort of bubble in the water, right? This movement in the water. What do you do? The floor is yours.
I just calmly ask Callahan, "Did you sleep well, my friend?"
As well as one can. He snores, but given what we've been through, it's hardly the worst.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said I didn't disturb you.
You didn't, not that much. Again, compared to what we've been through, this is hardly the worst.
Listen, if it happens again, usually people I've traveled with in the past say that shoving a pillow on my face for a couple seconds works
Yeah.
pretty well. So
I'll keep
try
that
that
in
next
mind.
time. I won't mind it.
I suppose you wouldn't.
Ah.
How
So
about you?
what's that
yours?
worst thing that you're referring to?
Worst thing.
I
What do you mean?
I think that I look at Hawthorne and do I get a sense? Do you think I would get a sense without needing to roll, or maybe needing to roll, that you understand what that is on my chest?
I pretty much do know.
Right.
I want
Right.
you to talk about it.
So to go with the I know that you know that you know that I know, I think that Callahan, you would he is sufficiently, you would know that the professor is sufficiently knowledgeable about these kinds of marks.
Right.
So if he's looking at it and he's not sort of, I would think you both insight each other enough to know that you know what the other one's thinking. Let's put it that way, right? Because if we start rolling, then we get with your rolls, I'd rather just you succeed.
Fair enough. You see him let out a long exhale, and Callahan looks young, early 20s, and there's something to his expression that suddenly looks older. You know that the first of these to appear were due to crossbreeding between the houses. Don't like talking about that anymore. It's one of the reasons why they banned it, actually. Trying to keep it in the family. Trying to avoid any mess, anything too unpredictable. Then, of course, war came. And with war comes opportunity. Opportunity for bold and creative action. And if it doesn't work, well, we gave it the old college try. And it doesn't cost much, but maybe the lives of 110 or 100 poor idiots who nobody's really going to miss anyway, and nobody's really going to know. And sometimes it works just enough. Just enough to keep you on a leash. Try and see just how far that new toy will go on its own. Maybe you learn something when it breaks. And maybe it doesn't break, and you learn something from that too. But don't worry. This didn't make me crazy or anything. War makes madmen of it all. No special features required.
Not if I assumed you would be crazy, my friend.
Have you considered alcoholism?
Maybe a stiff drink could help you, mate.
This is how to break this.
Oh, I've
It's like
considered a great many
perfect
things.
honey meat that'll introduce a note of sweetness to your life, because it sure sounds like you could use it. Numbing sensation and a hint of sweetness.
How long has your family been working on that?
Oh, let's see, I'd be 17th generation? Us dwarves live for about 350 years, give or take. I'll say 300 each. We all get too drunk to make it to 350 anyways. So, let's see. 1,600, 4,000, 5,200.
Dragon and Bob, fuck me.
I have to ask, Junnen, do you think that your ancestors were Egyptian because they seem to be originating from a state of denial?
Well, no, he starts as he's doing the math. Like that's just sort of him doing. But then he's going to sort of say, "But we didn't start making alcohol till about."
You basically spend the next 10 minutes basically figuring out your family tree by logic rather than memory.
Well, yeah, no, that's probably about right. He can remember, like, if he wanted to go for like the last 4 generations or so, that could be done easily. But because he doesn't, people usually ask about his more recent ancestors, the ones that are in more recent history. Just because most of the people that he's spoken to are people who would know about his brand of alcohol, so they know sort of where to bring this up.
Okay.
But given that he obviously doesn't, and he's just asked, how long has your family been around? Junnen now has to refresh himself on actually how long his family has been making alcohol. And that goes sort of from the start rather than... If the question was, when did your sort of honey mead start being made? Sort of when did you get your modern start? Where'd that necklace come from? Easy, 4 generations ago. I'm the 5th generation. But when did we actually start our craft as a dwarf family? That's a more complicated question.
I would say, because we're coming up on time.
Yep.
Let's get that cliffhanger. There's while Junnen, you were sort of babbling. Not babbling. As you were sort of recollecting, making those calculations in your head, sort of halfway in your mind, and sort of half of this the calculation out in speech and in your mind. The intensity of Callahan's speech and with the professor. There's a moment where Callahan, you feel again that pressure of a current around your legs, going up to up to your torso. There's almost sort of the pressure at some point becomes almost focused, as if a pair of hands or fingers were pressing onto your chest. And you feel that pressure, that hot and cold flash again, just at the mark.
Mm-hmm.
It burns you just enough so that you feel the need to sort of push yourself out of the water, just out of reach of the liquid. But the liquid follows. Just as sort of pulling out of the water, there's just a hand pressed against your chest. And a face rises up. Flowing hair, this time visible. You see what you would recognize as a naiad. A fae of the waters. And she looks towards you in these almost translucent eyes and features, straight towards you, looking at you. Maybe I can help you with this. And that's where we're going to end for tonight.
Yay!
You look lonely. I can fix that.
I can fix him.
You're surrounded by company. I can make him go away.
I do not know why I've been having issues with this whole thing. Let's see if I can actually find the naiad so that you may have a look at it, because the okay, let's see if I have the handout.
It's a damp dryad, so you got to take away the dry out of dryad.
In a sense. Here we go. This is what she looks like.
Ooh,
They're pretty.
And we will discover more about that next time. Okay, guys, I'm
even like a blue color. It's perfect. Yeah, they can fix you.
I'm calling this out. I'm seeing how fast we're moving about and how you guys are enjoying this thing. We might actually have to book a 4th session, but we will discuss. Well, I mean, Brasdelait knows that. I mean, when I say 3, it's usually 5.
It was 4 last time. You said the exact same thing and it ended up being 4.
We managed to break into it. Yeah.
Because you put a time limit for yourself, knowing that it could easily have been 5.
Yeah.
Oh
right.
no!
So,
more D&D. How awful!
Some of us might have to go. So first of all, thank you to my players for tonight. You really got into it. There was some really interesting interactions. Took me for a few spins, and I really enjoy that. The dice have been telling a story that I do not want heard.
I love numbers. I love numbers, bro.
I've been telling a story. It's called Shitstorm, bro.
I love the numbers 2, 4, and 1.
Yeah. Look, we're gonna be doing what is now my tradition here is we're gonna do the aftercare. So if you are watching or listening and you only care about the story, you can cut off here. And we will see you in the next session. If you want to sort of listen to us babble a little bit and debrief about the session, well, stick around. Same thing for the players. Do not feel obligated in any shape or form to stay. I would love to hear your opinion, but I can only keep you so late. So, thank you to
I
my
will be
players.
up for the next few hours.
Thank you to my
Thank you,
players for
Guardian.
tonight, and to those watching, who signing off. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. For those who would like to stick around, just wait for 30 seconds. We'll be right back. Right. Okay. So, how'd you like it, guys?
Oh yeah.
It's picking up.
It's picking up.
Usually
Yeah.
I find like the first session's always the hardest to get into because it's like, okay, where are we? Who are we? And we gotta really break into it.
Who am I?
Who am
Why
I? Help me!
I think I had too many drinks.
I don't think you've had enough.
We
should have
are
a few more.
definitely making a very interesting bunch.
Yeah. Which, by the way, just to make sure, Brasdelait, I'm kind of being playful with Callahan being kind of passive aggressive towards your character. I hope that's okay. Like, this is something that, in terms of vibes, I feel like we were on a similar wavelength, but I don't want this to come across as kind of like player opinion and not character opinion. Just making sure that we're calibrating correctly.
I always assume whenever I'm playing D&D that like if a player has genuinely has issue with me, they'll either bring it up or if not, then I'm going to assume everyone's chill. So I very much assume this was an in-character thing. Don't worry.
Good.
I've been playing the game for a while. I sort of have my fair share of interpersonal sort of character things. Junnen himself is going to be completely oblivious. He's sort of happy-go-lucky, whereas like honest
Wherever
to a
life
fault,
takes
even if
him.
it offends other people.
This-
So at the moment, he
Junen's a
probably isn't aware that he's pissed you off. But like, if he does ever notice it, he will apologize. But if that's how you want to play, I did notice that. That's perfectly fine. I think it does add a bit to sort of humor and things like that, of mild annoyance and picking up absolutely zero flags.
He's actually
no,
knocking
he's
them
a
down
hoot,
as
though.
he goes.
I love me a button pusher, and like this is not the elephant in the porcelain shop. This is the supernova. So I am quite pleased.
Well, I mean, I've already basically pissed off like the owners with a beetroot apple detox recipe. I drank hard liquor and not flinched. I think I'm doing pretty well for myself.
Hawthorne was slowly distancing from you towards the door.
I've never seen this man in my life.
I mean, that's why out of character I told I forget name of the bird.
Anput.
Yeah. That's why out of character I told you maybe like leave a lot of the details out for you. You just need to give him like the bare minimum of owners are sketchy. Let's go find out what's up, and he'll join a heartbeat. I wouldn't recommend giving any more than that.
We'll see how 6 charisma bird handles all this information she's just been given. I'm doing my best to remain RP wise in an RP game. With Anput, again, slowly figuring out like who she truly is, and then going from there. And I hope the bird noises and me speaking really weirdly isn't grating to people as well.
Listen, respect to your vocal cords and to you for committing to the bit, because how?
I just need some water. I just like making weird noises.
I was
How much
also
water do you
thinking
drink?
that aren't you getting like a short throw or something
No,
after
not
a
really,
session?
actually. If I do it in short bursts, then it's fine. It's fine.
To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. When you like use your amulet and you try to actually speak rather than just make noise and stuff like that, it sounds like you've been doing a toad voice for most of your life, and it's finally becoming raspy.
Hey, it's me, Bird Toad.
I do not have Nintendo licensing money, so please stop.
Thank you so much.
Legally distinct frog.
I am going to mute you all if you continue that.
Okay.
Are you gonna eat that garlic?
That was inaudible.
Inaudible. Perfect.
Oh, brilliant.
It was live
My
muting.
mic is not very good.
Generic GM live muting.
I'm scared.
No hands.
Hey yo, check it out. It's me, John Plummer from Plumber Game. John Plummer and my brother, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like those,
yes,
those
I will-
bootleg costumes you find at like Halloween stores. Nondescript plumber.
Nondescript plumber Halloween costume. But I will work on the Anput voice and I'll make sure not to do any funny references.
it's
that
great.
could- Yeah.
It's mostly just like kudos to your vocal cords.
Yeah.
As was previously mentioned.
I could do a few voices. Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb.
Oh.
Plankton and Perfect Cell are they kind of blend together.
oh,
Really?
well,
I've never thought about it that way.
We're gonna steal the Elven secret formula for our own restaurant and spa.
the
And I do the voice, but Generic GM's gonna suplex me into the ground.
The Junnen Blothandl honey mead recipe is going to be yours by the end of this.
Hey, look, there's
chum in there somewhere.
There's something to be said. I've been working on it for a while, not in any official or organized fashion, but I do have a plan to at some point organize a sort of maybe a long form campaign where instead of doing the whole adventuring thing, the whole adventuring thing turns around a tavern. As in, you need to gather money to sort of restore the tavern. You know, you wake up one morning, heavy, still half drunk from the previous night, and you realize that you were in a run-down old building, cobwebs and broken chairs, and there's just between the 4 or 5 of you nailed to the table is the deed to the house and the promise that to have it restored within 1 year.
Uh-oh.
Oh, interesting.
Why go adventuring when you could own a tavern?
You know? And I would set this either in... depending on the player's wishes, we would go for Waterdeep, Neverwinter, Baldur's Gate, you know, seek what kind of ambience that they want.
Yawning Portal's so good, why is there not a Yawning Portal 2?
Fair.
It can make for a really good story. Like I once had some players derail my campaign completely by insisting that their collective goal was to found a floating tavern, like that would be on the open ocean,
Okay.
whose main line of business I can't talk about here without getting you demonetized.
Well, that would first.
Blatro, I got it. It's Blatro.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
the
It's a
thing that
casino.
came to my
It's a casino.
Was
Yeah, clearly.
you guys has anyone here heard of the raft social experiment? I can't say any more than that.
Yes.
But if you know, you know. Okay, yeah.
Wiki search.
Are you just making the raft?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, look, adventurers are not known for their common sense.
No, of course not.
But anyways, no, it was interesting because there's a few dots of information. There's a few people that you can ask questions to know what's a bit more what's going on. You've met a few of them so far. what was interesting was to see how you interacted with them and who interacted with them. Because I, for example, had a whole thing prepared to see what if the half-elf met up with the drow? How would that go? And I had a whole different conversation ready for what that happened. The naiad was not necessarily supposed to appear now. I had other means. If so, for example, when sort of interrupting. I'm not going to give too much because this things can still happen, but I might have sabotaged myself with regards to one of you looking for information. Like, see, it's the juggling act is pretty fun, and I'll be sure to break that down once we finish the campaign, the scenario here.
I would love that. I would love that because I am like whenever I DM, I like to go on vibes essentially and kind of like atmosphere, etc. So the setup of the structure of a campaign and kind of like thinking about how how modular it can be and how it's going to work as a storytelling device. That's something that I really want to learn more about.
Yeah.
So this is the sort of breakdown that I would find very interesting, both as a player and as a DM.
The biggest issue that I have here is that I want you guys to investigate, but potentially, for example, you could have had the full explanation with the kobold. The kobold knew everything, and so potentially. I mean, talking about the book, right? I'm not talking about how we interpret and how we're playing this game. But technically, if you had interacted with the kobold and asked the right questions by the book, you would already know what's going on.
Like, not even settled in for the night.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
already gone, wait, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
Like, any number of characters could have the plot device that the players weren't actually looking for. Like, it could have...
Yeah.
Like, this could have just been a nice spa for all we knew.
Yeah.
But it might not be.
I've heard some people run this. By the way, once we're done with this campaign, I recommend looking up on YouTube. Mark Humes actually runs this campaign for one of his tables.
Ooh.
It is very, very different, very, very fun, and you're already much more very different from what I did with my previous group, because I think this is at the point one of my players went full Karen when she discovered that her magical staff had disappeared.
See,
and basically went aggro with the staff. I'm not the staff of the personnel. Yeah.
Is there sorry, has anyone actually checked the chests in their room? Because I haven't thought to do that yet.
All three of you have checked their chests. You have not. Yeah. You're the only one who hasn't.
Was there,
that's the chunk of our
equipment
possession.
Sorry?
Was the people's equipment there or not?
So, your equipment is there in the chest.
Right.
But when Anput, when Anput and Hawthorne checked their chest, they realized that something was missing.
I see.
And when Callahan checked his, he realized that somebody had gone through some private affairs. Nothing was missing, but definitely there was a communication that he had hidden away, which had been opened by somebody else's hands.
Fair enough.
So
I think most of my confidential things would be at the nearest guild headquarters.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But the idea is, yes, your stuff has been tampered.
Spaced with honeymead recipes written down or anything like that. So I suspect that if I'm going to work, it's just work. It's my work suitcase, which say a great axe and a couple more axes, and then an emergency bottle of booze.
I checked your inventory. I'm pretty sure that if anyone had, all three of you might have had something sort of taken for different reasons or lost or whatever. We'll see how that goes. But I'm pretty sure you've got nothing interesting.
There's
No,
axes,
anything
axes.
of-
It's just axes.
Yeah.
Axes and taxes.
No, all the tax stuff is at the guild headquarters.
Yeah.
If I'm on a spa retreat, I don't want to deal about import taxes on my mead.
Anyway, on that note,
You know what? Let's throw this in for fun.
Okay.
Stuff. The only time that Junnen is actually sober for an extended period of time is if he's doing his taxes. At which point he's got a nice little pair of monocles and is actually doing proper work. He is capable of that.
okay, no, fair enough, fair enough.
Something that happens very
Competent worker underneath all of the alcohol.
I mean, he is like he's a 5th generation honeymead maker and very proud of it. He wants to make sure that his business doesn't get shut down or foreclosed due to tax evasion unknowingly. Because while those cultists and kobolds and goblins might hit hard, the IRS hits harder.
They'll always hit harder.
Okay. Actually, on that note, thank you, David, for staying a bit longer. So to the rest of you, thank you again for playing. This is. I like this game. I really like this. We will be playing.
D&D.
Sorry.
This particular campaign or D&D?
This.
As a whole.
Look. D&D is like a fine wine. It can go with a lot of things. It can be ruined in many ways. But every time you open a bottle, it's just slightly different. And I'm really liking this bottle.
I'm liking this bottle analogy.
Okay.
You can tell he meant that. He leant into the microphone.
And on that reveal, thank you for playing. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, DM.
Thank
Same
you.
spa
Very
time,
welcome.
same spa channel.
Yes. Oh, check out the link for the Kickstarter for Game Master Worlds. It's in the descriptions for most of my videos for the past couple of weeks. So go enjoy. If you have the funds, if you have the means, if you have the will, snatch it up. It's really fun. See
That's
that?
a sponsor joke I made briefly.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you have no idea. I might actually have another because I'm starting professional GMing. So, advert.
Yeah.